Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Back again, Worlds Collide. It's another top three, insert cool 1, 2, 3 sound here, because this is the gimmick. Okay, we're back. Top three most colorful card designs. Another one of Tony's ideas. You know, this may be, maybe we should rename this the Tony Idea Show, because he says something, we come up with it, and then I'm like, yeah, this is a great idea. Most colorful card designs. I don't know. Let me look at your notes right here. Uh-oh. Spoiler alert. Your card set, the Impel 1991, did not make the list.
No, it did not make the list.
That's something that's like super prominent in our hobby about the colors and the designs, but we have topped that. We have officially kicked that to the side with some more obscure releases. So
yeah, you can't take something that's already in the Hall of Fame, take it out and put it back in the Hall of Fame again.
Yeah. We have kicked it out of the colorful Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the criteria. That's what we like to do. For me, you know, talking about the most colorful card designs, and this is sets, not like one-offs. We're not necessarily talking like, you know, a specific like rainbow or something like that doesn't count. Maybe a certain parallel, maybe, but not like putting together a rainbow or you know, something like that.
I looked at this from my concept of this particular topic was from an overall perspective and an entire release of something. Mm-hmm. So whether it be, you know, something vintage or something modern, it had to be, you know, its entire release. So if it's a set that had a base set with some subsets and inserts like that, you kind of had to keep all of that in mind for me, I thought.
Yeah, my criteria for this was what's going to stop me in my tracks when I see it. Like, oh, you know, that stops your that's a pattern interrupt. What's eye catching, and the combination of the design, but not only that, like having multicolors. Like it might be a cool design and it might have 2 or 3 colors, but I'm talking about the ones that use a color combination that really just pop out, you know, for one reason or another. Again, it could be vintage stuff that's maybe a more dull color, or it could be the more modern stuff that's really shiny and flashy. So that's kind of the criteria we set. I'll kick it off with I actually two of mine, and we'll get into the second one, very obscure that not a lot of people talk about. We're going to start with the 2021 Topps UK, specifically the Legends. And if you get on the old Google machine, you can search this, and your two that you're going to see pop up immediately are Andre the Giant and Bam Bam Bigelow. They're really cool, like studio type poses, but the background looks like it was come out of an Easter egg basket or something. Like it's these bright pastel colors. It almost looks like it's from the Topps Slam Attacks, but it's not. And I just think like it stopped me in my tracks when I was kind of doing some research trying to find the most colorful, because we see the Impel and you'd see these rainbows and all this stuff, but I had never seen these before. Again, it was a UK exclusive, and us as Americans, we don't seem to we don't collect a lot of the UK stuff for numerous reasons, but I just thought I'd throw that out there because it's a set that nobody really talks about, specifically these Legends in this base set, and I just thought it was amazing.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that one too. I do recall seeing the Andre one, and that kind of like really caught my eye. It just, for some reason, it pops. It does pop.
All right, you're up with your
for me.
First one.
I'll start, and I'll go really modern here. So like I like the 2020 WWE Finest, Topps Finest. I just think from a design point, it was the first Finest set that they ever did for WWE, and I've always liked the Finest designs. I just thought it popped for me. It's got that chrome, yet not so chrome with the colorful stuff. I just love the whole overall concept of everything. And I think that the insert sets were pretty damn cool, if I recall as well. Mm-hmm. I just liked it from start to finish. It kind of was pleasing to me as almost a basic set. It was a chrome set with color. That's how I looked at it. A chrome set with a lot of color that I really liked.
There's something for everybody on the color, like in the design. You know, there's just all kinds of stuff. And I get your opinion from this isn't my opinion. the feedback from what I see on social media, what I see people talking about, the community of wrestling card collectors, even, you know, the people you see at card shows, like I went to a local card show and I saw Select in their cases in different colors and parallels. I think this may be, and it's going out on a limb, at the time of recording, this may be one of the most popular Chromium wrestling card sets of all time. Like maybe at the top.
Well, we are talking 2020 WWE Finest.
Oh, I totally got off track here. I was thinking Select, and I'm just like, this is amazing.
Well, you know what? That's a segue because we can go right into that because you and I both picked Select for 2022 WWE Select.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, let me stop because I was so focused on Select. It's like I'm one of these new people just collecting Ultra Modern. Let me go back and talk about 2020 Finest. Of course, I love this set because this is where the cross rookie cards are. It's the first super fractor I ever bought, and I say rookie cards with quotes, but there's actually the rookie card logo on there, even though it's not his first card, which we're not going to talk about that. But I think the 2020 Finest, since we're on the right track now, this design it's cool, but it's like it's kind of subdued at the same time because I know the 2021 Finest got a lot of backlash because there's like, oh, these shapes and these images and there's too much going on. But 2020 seems to have this like I'm not gonna say like a cult collecting, but like there's people that love the design, but then they did the short prints, and the short prints have those colors as well with the parallels and stuff. So I think there's enough going on. I think the images are cool, like you said. I'm just glad my mind is working right now. So.
Yeah, I liked them just because it was like that. Like I said, it's a hybrid for me in that it's chrome, but it still has the finest flair to it because I used like the Star Wars wide vision and the finest that they used to put out all the time. I like that that design. With that being said, Finest was always notorious for having production issues for quality as far as scratches in the surface, line problems for printing problems like that. So when you're able to find something,
that is the first WWE Finest too. So that has like you said, that has something to go with it being a first.
Yeah, it definitely has something to be said for being the first. That's why I've saved a couple boxes for myself just because it's a first Finest release, and I enjoy it. I think it's a really nice design for me. It's appealing to me. I now whether I like some of the certain images that came on it, not so much so, but that's where we kind of going to segue right into our next one where we both agreed on, which was the 2022 WWE Panini Select, which might be. That's definitely
I dropped the spoiler on that one.
it's got to be top. I don't care. Maybe if you're a wrestling card collector and have been for years, it's got to be in your top 5 best design card sets of all time. It just has to be. It really does. From everything from it's just aesthetically pleasing to the eye with the color schemes it has on it, the designs, the photography used for it is amazing. There's some really
the levels of chase that go with
the levels of chase that come with it. If you start going into the parallels like that, there's just the tie dyes alone. The tie dyes alone are just phenomenal. When I got my Dexter Loomis one from that set, I was like, there's a card that it has to be really to be in your hand to really appreciate the beauty of that card. It just the way it pops off of there is just amazing. And sometimes the color matching for some of those parallels to certain characters are just like spot on. They're just beautiful. They're just absolutely stunning.
I basically everything you just said. I've never seen, and I kind of said this, I've never seen the feedback like nearly 100% positive from the entire community, and people are doing different things within there. They're putting together rainbows, or they're putting together cool sets like that we've seen with like a Dusty and a Cody or Bloodline parallels. There's just all kinds of fun things. And I still think what I said earlier, like I think this is probably from a feedback perspective, the #1 Chromium stock product that has ever been released for wrestling. Not my opinion. It's just I'm saying that from the perspective of what I see people talking about. And people want to go back and say, well, the 06 Heritage Chrome is the best, or 2014 Topps Chrome because it's the first golds. I understand those perspectives, but when I look at what the community is talking about and what people are constantly posting and buying, people are still working on Select stuff as we speak right now, even though all these other Panini products have come out.
And we're not really this is not a talk about, what's more significant to the, the overall, history of release products when it comes to these shiny cards like that. We're just talking, this is from a design perspective. We're just talking, that's what this segment is about. This episode's
Right.
about, of just, colorful set design. So it's not going to sit here and say, well, I think Select is better than 2014.
Oh no, it's just
or
something I
2006.
wanted to mention because of just the overwhelming positive response that I've seen to this product.
It's one of the most well-received wrestling card sets that has ever come out that I can recall. You can be a traditionalist and go out there and say, well, I like my old stuff, whatever that may be. I don't care. But the general feel for Select was very positive. And I think it's a beautiful looking card set. I still like my old vintage stuff.
Me too.
But there's nothing, you just can't take away from the design. It's just a beautiful release.
And specifically, you mentioned the tie-dye, and that's what I had down. I actually, I saw them online when it came out, whatever. And then I was at the local card show. I told you these sports card guys had Select in their cases. They had Prism too. But when don't quote me on this, but I think it was like Xia Li or a talent like that. And they had a tie-dye in their case. And I was like, oh my gosh, like seeing these in person. This is one of the coolest parallels I think I've probably ever seen. So, and then
Too bad Cross is not in it.
Oh, I know. But like my immediate thought was like, color matching that with Dude Love. And I'm it's just so cool. Like thank you, Panini. Like everybody hates Panini, but the fact that we're able to do stuff like this. So I will move on to my third. I was pulling up some more reference here. And it is going back to the 2021 Topps UK again. And this was like an on-demand set that they included. I got these in hand first. I bought a collection and there was some of these cards in there. And I had never seen them, so I had to go do some research. And there's a British Bulldog one. It is like the one I'm looking at right now is Best of British Bulldog versus Bret Hart. And it's got that, cool images and whatnot, but the border is like a little bit of that rainbow. They're more of the pastel color, though they're not shiny. And it's just like, it's a cool, colorful design that kind of gives me that same vibe and that same feel as the Impel, but better. Like more colors, better images. So I just wanted to throw that. There's a little bit harder to find, and if you do find them, a little bit more expensive for being just kind of a base card. But I guess, if they're on demand, they're more limited. That's probably why. So, you don't see a lot of people talking about those specifically from a design perspective. So that's the last one I wanted to mention.
I do remember the British Bulldog ones in there because the different color schemes they put in the background, they were very, like I said, pastel-y. And so they popped. They just really popped. There's a clear, that's what I like about certain parallels. Like one thing that is a downer for me on Panini parallels, especially with Prism stuff, is there's so many of them in that look similar to each other that it's hard sometimes, if you're not experienced, it's hard to tell the difference between the silver versus it's just it can be to
like
the untrained eye.
And Red Wave.
Yeah, Red
They're
Wave.
very similar. So you unless you look on the back and see the number, you don't know.
Yeah, it's really hard sometimes to tell the difference, but those there's no issues there. You could totally tell the difference like that.
All right, what do you got for last on your list? Best for last.
I'm going old school, buddy.
Oh boy.
Nothing beats an 87 Topps, WWF Topps. It's just a beautiful card set, red, white, and blue. It pops all the way around. It's such a popular thing. Not quite as popular as Impel, apparently, but it's so popular that so many other card designs mimic that design for their independent set. Hell, even Topps went back and redid it in their Heritage set to redo it from 2014. Heritage.
I was just gonna say that.
They use it as a subset to the main set, but it's still they revisited that whole design. It's iconic. It really is to see. A Hogan in that, or an Andre in that one, or a Bret Hart, his rookie card, whatever. Again, quotes. It's just it stood the test of time. People love that design. It is again, it's just so iconic that so many people emulate it, and they use it for their independent stuff. And it's just when you open a pack or you open a collection of cards and you start, boom, instantly what you got right there. It speaks to you. It hits us, and it fits the time frame of that history right there perfectly. That time, the red, white, and blue. Hogan waving the flags. It's just it's perfect to me. It's perfect.
total nostalgia for me. This is the first set that I ever opened as a kid or remember having I still have a couple of the cards that have remained from my childhood collection. You know, I've collected action figures, records, video games. Like some of this stuff comes and goes, but these 87 tops cards that I have will forever be in my collection. Like they still are from 19. I think I got these maybe in like 88. So, and something else that we touch on that common design that people like to borrow, and even Topps borrows their own design. But
Yep.
one thing, the design that I really like out of this, that when I look at this as a kid, that comes back to me, is the basic blue design with the red ropes around it.
Yep.
And then just the like nameplate section that says what's going on in that action shot, like
Yep.
Hulkamania Run Wild or Flip Flop or whatever it says on it. That actually reminds me of actually opening these cards more than the red, white, and blue. I think the red, white, and blue is the better design of the set. And then and what about the stickers? We didn't even touch on those, like with the little
Exactly.
floating WWF logos all in the
Yep.
background, and bright red and blue. Like just overall, top to bottom, amazing set. Like
Yeah.
it makes
So
me want to go do one of my set breakdown videos on this set right now because I'm like so fired up about it.
it's just a to me, in our hobby, it's a historical design that
It's fun.
yeah. Perfect word. It's a fun set.
Yeah, and that's what this is all about ultimately, is having fun. And I hope you guys had some fun listening to this today. I hope it maybe is a reference point for you to kind of go out and check out. Maybe these are some card sets or types of designs that you're not experienced with or you didn't know existed. Tony, every single day I'm amazed, and this is, I probably should have no expectations. In my mind, I think wrestling fans are such diehards that they know everything from the 50s and 60s all the way up to modern product. And I've got to remember that there are certain people out there that just like modern product or they just like vintage, or and I'm saying from a wrestling perspective, not even from cards. Like, I mentioned on the last episode that people that don't know who Johnny Rods are, or maybe they even don't know Authentica, who are part of the bloodline. And I just love wrestling history, and I'm hoping that maybe that we can speak to wrestling history from a cardboard perspective with these sets that we're talking about. Maybe people didn't know about these 2021 UK sets and they go back and find those, or maybe they skipped on the 2020 finest for whatever reason and they want to go back and check those out. So I love talking about wrestling history and hoping people go back and learn that, but I'm also wanting to do that from a cardboard perspective. And because there's so many things out there in our hobby that people are just unaware of. And, what happens if all of a sudden this, 2020 finest, what if that turns into somebody's 87 tops from my perspective, and how excited I was to just kind of talk about that set, not from a monetary perspective or not from a, well, this doesn't grade very well, but just from an overall, it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. I'm interested in hearing that from people who listen to this episode to find out, what their favorite sets are from a design, colorful standpoints like that, for the most colorful sets out there. Because there's so many to choose from. It was really hard for me to kind of narrow it down. Like adding 20, I mean, I'm sure that my weak one from my three would be my 2020 finest like that. There's probably other card sets that I kind of gone through and looked, and said, hey, I like this from start to finish. Like I could have done a lot of different chrome sets. There've been so many different chrome sets that are beautiful too. Hell, I could have picked all 2022 Panini products, for crying out loud. There was so much good stuff that Panini put out from a design perspective too.
I kept wanting to add Impel and I just couldn't do it because something else kept bumping it off.
Yeah, I mean, Impel is just in a league of its own, I think. And for me, almost like if we were to do this again in a year, it's like that, like revisit the top 3 colorful designs, going forward, our minds have changed. I'd probably bump out 87 tops just because it's like, no kidding, buddy. That goes without speaking. That should be that's in there already. Find something new.
I don't know. But, I still think it stands out for sure. Like as much nostalgia as I have for the 91 Impel, my nostalgia level for the 87 tops is so much bigger.
So, but I'm interested in hearing from other people. Like I'm always interested in hearing from other people about our episodes. And what do you guys think? What do you guys like from a colorful design standpoint, from start to finish, like an overall from any release? Like, what do you guys like? What are your top 3 most beautiful card designs? That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, maybe we forgot something. Maybe there's something that is like literally slapping us in the face with color and design, and we just totally missed it. That happens. We're not experts, even though some people claim to be. So let us know what you think, and let us know what are some of your favorite sets. What do you collect? Maybe there's some tidbits of information that you could kind of give us on these sets that we talked about, that's something we didn't mention that maybe could benefit the community, because that's what we're here for, just to build the collecting community, put the information out there, and let you do with it what you will towards your collection or your buying or your
100%.
selling or whatever you're doing. So as we get out of here, Tony, let everybody know where they can find you.
WrestlingTradingCards.com. Over 20 years of providing people with checklist information. It's the number one source. It just has been, because of the community has been putting together for so many years. So I thank everybody who's ever helped out with the site for over the years like that. People who, every grading company out there has been using us for quite a long time, and I'm very appreciative of that. And it just, it just shows the passion that people have for this hobby to help better the community. And, together we work better. We work better as a team, and continue to keep doing that. So check us out on WrestlingTradingCards.com. All of our social media platforms can be found at the bottom of every single page. Check out our YouTube channel. And then, if you're in the Arizona area, come check out the Wrestling Guy Store Phoenix, man. Got to have in-store signings, continue to grow the inventory, trading cards as well. I just raised up enough money here. I think I'm going to go out and buy myself my first display case to put all my graded cards in for the show on the floor. And get that going here. So yeah, it's check it out, man. What about you?
Before I give my plugs, I want to continue to plug the WTC YouTube channel. We've talked about this offline a couple of times, but since Adam and others have started contributing some to the YouTube channel, the levels of education, you don't even have to necessarily like and buy the products that are being talked about from the modern, but there's
you don't have to like the people that are actually hosting the damn show, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
but the information there is invaluable.
It's unbelievable and it's not just from one person's perspective either. I know there's a lot of people that think that, but they're the education level for the modern product, and the wrestling card community is starving for that. And I try to do that. We try to do that, but it's not something that me or you or some others can. Maybe we can't fully do that because we just don't have the experience or the knowledge. But the opinion, all of these information and opinions that are being given on this modern product is very, very helpful to new collectors. So if you haven't checked that out, or experienced collectors that just don't know how some of these, I'll call them flagship products in other sports, have worked over the past 10, 15 years or whatever. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go subscribe to the WTC YouTube channel and just open your mind and try to learn, because the information on that is invaluable. Do you want to say anything else about that before I give my plugs?
If you give any information from that, it's great. It's like that. I think you digest what you want to digest. Again, there's just people out there that are going to have different opinions for whatever it may be, and I totally get that, understand that. And I've been very clear from the beginning that anybody who wants to be a part of the WTC network are welcome to. The second it becomes a platform for any individuals to go out there and badmouth people and decide, I mean, they're gone. They're gone. It's the way it is. But everything that's been put out there so far has been very well received. The numbers don't lie. They show the subscription base has gone up more because people are intrigued. They want to know. I'm one of those people who want to know. I'm not familiar with all the Panini products over the years. I've never collected their other sports like that. So I don't know what to expect from something like Prism when it came out. I don't know what to expect from Chronicles. I know of these names. I know kind of what they are and what they represent, but I don't know how that impacts me as a wrestling card collector. So it's nice to have some people out there who are experienced that, and they do a very good job of it too. So the feedback that I've gotten from those who have watched these episodes have come away like, dude, this is very informative. Or even at the very minimum, they're like, I don't necessarily agree with that, but there are some interesting ideas there and some perspectives there that I think I'm taking away from this. So that's all it is to expand your mind, to help you better your collection, and how to not necessarily invest if that's what you want to do, but at least go after and how to better your collection. And that's what the WT Network's all about. We got some things coming down the road too here to let people, be part of the channel. And my door is always open to them. I've cleared so much space there to reorganize the channel so that it actually has room for other people who want to provide content. I would love to have a vintage section on there for people. That's all we talk about is vintage, what it means. If you want to talk about investment purposes for that, all that stuff is 100% welcome to that, because I think it's invaluable information for collectors to know. We try to do that on our channel. Card Foundation does it for their channel. There's a lot of other people out there doing things more than ever before, which is great. I love it. I want more content out there that people can go and choose from and learn. So that's all it is to better the community. It's all it is.
And to just give an example, I know we're trying to get out of here, but to give an example of the content, like from a sports perspective, like I know Prism. I kind of knew what was going to happen with Prism as it came out. We're not going to talk about a lot of the quote pump and dump stuff that people are talking about. I knew Select. I knew Chronicles. Like I knew a lot of these things. I have a couple of Impeccable sports cards. I didn't know a lot about the product. So when the Impeccable stuff was being put out on your channel, I was like zoned in, and I'm like trying to learn the ins and outs of this product with WWE and how's this going to work. And to be completely transparent, I don't own any WWE Impeccable cards, but I still want to continue to learn more because I'd like to be knowledgeable about the product. Because what happens if they come out with that next year and Cross is in it? What happens if they come out with it and there's that one card of that one talent that really speaks to me? I want to be prepared from a mental standpoint and a knowledge standpoint to know what I'm getting into. And that the videos on your YouTube channel have been tremendous with that. So
thanks. I appreciate. I think they do a really, really good job, and I just wish more people were more open-minded to getting past. It's like dealing with Howard Stern. Either you like him or you don't. But people who don't like him still tune in, and other ones tune in longer because they want to know what the hell he's going to say next.
Yep.
So it's just that's how I look at it, and the reviews have been way more positive than negative. So, and I appreciate that. So.
All right, so for my content, at Zhan Morning on social platforms, pretty much everywhere. Wrestling with Cards on YouTube, Wrestling with Cards, the podcast. Please check those out. Links in the show notes. And of course, if you enjoyed this podcast that you're listening to today, wherever you listen to this on, please hit that subscribe button. Leave us a 5-star review if you're on a platform that you can leave reviews on. And the most important part, Tony's always talking about engagement. Tell a friend, spread the word, not only about this podcast, of course, but wrestling cards in general. Maybe that leads them back to this podcast. Trying to get more wrestling fans collecting, more sports card collectors who already know what's up, trying to get into wrestling cards, and just growing our niche of the hobby and having fun doing it. I love recording these. I love collecting. Everything that we do in the hobby in 2023, I have nothing negative to say because I'm having so much fun no matter what it is we're doing as being part of this. So.
Yeah, I just stay part of the positivity, man. I just ignore all the other stuff. I don't get involved in it, so I'm having too much fun. I got a business to run over here as well, too.
Yeah,
so, but
same.
when I dip into back into the card realms like that, I just I want to go in and have fun, and I'm continuing to have fun. I'm having a lot of fun.
Wrestling cards are fun, but
more importantly, I think wrestling cards rule.
They rule, brother. We'll see you.